Most of this I will read because we want to give credit where credit is due. I don't want to leave anything out. Make sure that we truly honor and have a great deal of respect for this young man that I'm fixing to induct into the Georgia Athletic Coaches Hall of Fame. Luther Welsh was raised on a farm outside of Bishopville, South Carolina. Following graduation in 1951 from Maysville Riverside High School, he earned a degree at Presbyterian College. He began his teaching and coaching career in Warrington in 1955 and then served in the U.S. Army for 2 years. He returned to coaching in 1958 at Maywood High School in South Carolina, then served as an assistant coach at Sumter High School in South Carolina, Cordele High School, Albany High School. He resumed his head coaching career at Doherty High School from 1968 until 1982. After serving as assistant coach at Warner Robins for 1 year, he served as head coach at Thompson High School, Camden County High School, Green Taliaferro High School, and Screven County High School, before returning to Thompson High School in 1999. After 54 seasons, with the exception of the 2 years he missed serving in the armed forces, Coach Welch called it a career and retired in 2010. Now, folks, that's a lot of bus rides and national anthems. Coach Welch finished his career with a record of 333 wins, 181 losses, and 6 ties. He won 13 region titles, 3 state titles, and ranks 4th all-time in victories among coaches in the state of Georgia. 11 of the region titles and the 3 state titles was won while coaching at Thompson High School in the famous Brickyard. Coach Welch's many honors include Coach of the Year awards from Albany Herald, Augusta Chronicle, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, ESPN Rise, the Georgia Athletic Coaches Association. He was a head coach in the North-South All-Star football game and was an assistant in the Georgia-Florida High School All-Star game. He was selected star teacher in 1988 at Thompson High School. He has served on the Georgia High School the Georgia High School Association Executive Committee from 2000 to 2006. I'd like to share some of the comments that was made from the letters of recommendation that I received concerning Coach Welch. I remember my first coaching staff meeting with him when he told us, "You don't out-coach people, you outwork them." His greatest accomplishments are not measured by wins and championships. They are measured by the many young lives that Coach Welch had a profound impact on. Coach Welch always directed any attention to his team to the success of his players, his coaches, and his community. This is interesting. Coach Welch was old school. I was surprised he would have an answering machine because that's as far as he got with the modern technology. Cell phones and texting were foreign to him. He never made an assistant coach a scapegoat for what might have gone wrong in a game. Like many young men, I did not have a quality male role model in my life. Luther Welch became that man to me. Without men like Coach Welch, many young boys would have no future, no hope. Between these bricks, he won a lot of games at the Brickyard, and his legacy between these bricks will last forever. In closing, if you could read, or the plaques downstairs, if they could talk, the plaque on the right-hand side of Luther's plaque would probably say, "Luther, welcome. I think we deserve this award." The plaque on the left would probably say the same thing. But using a phrase that Luther has used many times in his life, his response would be, "That's about right." A couple of other things I'd like to mention about him that I learned this morning at breakfast. Luther was a family man and a Christian man. He loves 50 music. He loved the 50s. He wanted every kid on his football team to have a chance. He coached every player like the team depended on him. And I was talking to Coach Barnett about Luther. Coach Barnett worked with him for 19 years. They won the state championship, I believe, in '84. They beat a team 52-0 the opening game. On the Monday practice, the team came out and was wanting to live on that 52-0 win. And apparently, Coach Welsh decided that since they thought they'd won the Super Bowl, he needed to do two things. Number one, he needed to get their attention, and number two, they needed to prepare for the next team. The practice started that day at 4:15, and if I remember right, it ended at 8:45. He was always criticized to some degree about the length of his practice sessions. But anyone that worked with Luther and knew Luther knows that he spent a great deal of time working with that second unit. He wanted them to have as much practice time as the starters, because if one of those starters got hurt, obviously the number 2 man had to move up. The last thing I want to mention about Coach was this. He never wanted a player to leave his team saying that he never had a chance. He thought every kid in his program was important. At this time, would the family and the friends who are here in support of Luther Welsh, would you please stand? Accepting the award for the family will be the daughters of Coach Luther and Ann Welch, Mrs. Andrea O'Gay and Mrs. Lucia Coker. If they would come forward this time, would you please stand and let's honor this family and friends.